I discovered my fiancée was cheating with my best man the week before our wedding. I didn't cancel. I waited until my groom's speech, then thanked everyone for coming, before playing a recording of the two of them for all our 200 guests to hear. I then announced the bar was open to celebrate my newfound freedom. My wedding day was, by all accounts, a beautiful affair. The sun was shining, the venue was stunning, and 200 of our closest friends and family were gathered to watch me marry the love of my life, Monica. My best man, my oldest friend, Ben, stood by my side. Everything was perfect, except for one small detail. I knew my beautiful bride had been sleeping with my best man for the last 6 months, and I wasn't there to get married. I was there to host a premiere. This isn't a story about heartbreak. The heartbreak happened a week before the wedding, and it was a quiet, private death. This is a story about what comes after. It's about principle, it's about consequences, and it's about the clarifying power of a perfectly executed, very public revenge. Ben and I had been friends since we were kids. He wasn't just a friend, he was my brother. We had stood by each other through everything. When I met Monica 5 years ago, he was my biggest supporter. He told me she was the one. He helped me pick out her engagement ring. He was the natural, obvious choice for my best man. The three of us were inseparable, a perfect, happy trio, or so I thought. The discovery happened by accident, a stupid, mundane accident. A week before the wedding, my car was in the shop for some last-minute work. I asked Ben if I could borrow his car to run some wedding-related errands. He tossed me the keys without a second thought. As I was driving, I needed to charge my phone, but the main charging port wasn't working. I reached into his glove box to see if he had a spare cable. Tucked away under a pile of napkins, I found a small, cheap-looking digital voice recorder. I thought it was weird. Ben wasn't the type to use something like that. Curiosity got the better of me. I turned it on and hit play. The recording was from the day before. It was the sound of his car, the familiar hum of the engine, and then I heard voices. His voice and Monica's. My blood went cold. She was supposed to be at a bridal fitting that afternoon. Their conversation wasn't just a friendly chat. It was intimate, familiar, full of the easy shorthand of lovers. They were laughing about how stressed I was with the wedding planning. They were mocking my taste in music. And then the conversation took a turn. "Are you getting nervous?" I heard Monica ask, her voice low and playful. "About what? That he'll find out?" Ben replied, laughing. "No way. He's too in his own head to see what's right in front of him. He trusts us too much. It's almost sad." "I know," she sighed. "Sometimes I feel guilty, but then you touch me, and it all just goes away. Last night was incredible." "Just wait until after the wedding," he said, his voice dropping. "Once you're Mrs. Miller, it'll be even easier to sneak away. He'll never suspect a thing. A few more weeks, and we're home free." The recording went on. They talked about their plans, about how they would continue their affair after she was my wife. They talked about a weekend trip they had taken together a month ago, the same weekend I thought she was visiting her sick aunt. They laughed about how easy I was to deceive. I pulled the car over to the side of the road, my hands shaking. I couldn't breathe. The world felt like it was tilting on its axis. The two most important people in my life, the two people I trusted more than anyone, were not just betraying me. They were enjoying it. They were mocking me. They saw my trust as a weakness to be exploited. In that moment, something inside me broke. But something else was forged in its place. A cold, hard, and diamond-sharp resolve. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just saved the audio file to my phone and then to a secure cloud drive. I deleted it from the recorder and put the device back in the glove box, exactly where I had found it. My first instinct was to call off the wedding, to confront them, to scream, to unleash the hurricane of rage and pain that was building inside me. But as I sat there on the side of the road, a different idea began to form. A better idea. They wanted a wedding. They wanted a big, expensive party where they could stand in front of everyone we knew and lie to their faces. They wanted to use my love and my family's money as a cover for their sordid little affair. They thought I was a fool. Okay, I thought. I'll give you a wedding. I'll give you the biggest, most memorable wedding this town has ever seen." The next 7 days were the longest and hardest of my life. I had to become an actor. I had to go through the motions of being a happy, excited groom, all while this poison was sitting in my gut. I went to my own bachelor party, a steak dinner organized by Ben. I sat there, listening to him give a toast about our lifelong friendship, about what a great guy I was, and about how lucky I was to be marrying a woman like Monica. I smiled, I raised my glass, and I toasted him back, my heart a block of ice. The rehearsal dinner was even worse. Our parents were there, our families, our closest friends. Monica was radiant, playing the part of the blushing bride-to-be to perfection. She held my hand, kissed my cheek, and talked excitedly about our honeymoon. Ben stood up and gave a heartfelt speech about how he had seen our love grow from the very beginning. He talked about integrity, about loyalty, about how he would always be there for both of us. The hypocrisy was so thick I could have choked on it. I just sat there, nodding and smiling, a silent, smiling vessel of pure, cold rage. While they were playing their parts, I was playing mine. I was a producer, meticulously planning my show. My first stop was the DJ we had hired for the reception. I met with him under the pretense of finalizing the music list. "I have a special surprise for Monica," I told him. "It's an audio montage, a little trip down memory lane. I'll have it on a thumb drive for you. I want you to play it right after my groom's speech. I'll give you a cue. When I say the words, 'a love that is truly one of a kind,' I want you to hit play on the venue's sound system. Make sure it's loud and clear." The DJ, a cheerful guy in his 20s, thought it was a wonderfully romantic idea. He promised to have everything set up perfectly. My next conversation was more difficult. It was with the officiant, a close family friend who had known me since I was a boy. I met with him for coffee the day before the wedding. I told him everything. I played him a small, clean snippet of the recording. The color drained from his face. He was horrified. "What do you want me to do, son?" he asked, his voice trembling with anger on my behalf. "I want you to perform the ceremony," I said. "I want you to read the vows. I want you to ask us to say I do. But I want you to know that it is a performance. Under no circumstances are you to pronounce us legally married, and under no circumstances are you to sign or file the marriage license. This wedding is not real. It is a stage, and I need you to help me set it." He looked at me for a long time, then nodded slowly. "I've never done anything like this," he said. "But then again, I've never seen a betrayal like this. I'll do it." The final piece of the plan was a conversation with my parents. I told them that I had discovered something terrible and that I was handling it. I asked them for one thing, their trust. I told them that things at the reception might get strange, but to please, no matter what, just let it play out. They were confused and worried, but they agreed. They trusted me. Unlike some people. The wedding day arrived. I stood at the altar, looking out at the 200 guests. Ben stood beside me, clapping me on the shoulder, whispering jokes. He had no idea he was a dead man walking. Then the music swelled, and Monica began her walk down the aisle on her father's arm. She looked beautiful, a perfect, lying angel. As she reached the altar, she smiled at me, a dazzling, brilliant smile. I smiled back, and in that moment, I felt nothing at all. We went through the motions, we exchanged rings, we said the vows we had written for each other. Her voice was full of emotion as she promised to love, honor, and be faithful to me for the rest of her life. It took every ounce of my self-control not to laugh out loud. When the officiant asked if I took her to be my wife, I looked her in the eye and said, "I do." He then pronounced us committed partners in life. A clever bit of wordplay that no one noticed. We kissed, the crowd cheered, the lie was complete. The reception was held in a grand, beautifully decorated ballroom. Everything was perfect. The food was amazing, the music was great, and the open bar was flowing. Monica and Ben were in their element, laughing, mingling, accepting congratulations. They were the stars of the show, the happy bride and the loyal best man. They were soaking in the adoration of a room full of people they had deceived. After the main course, the DJ handed me the microphone for the groom's speech. This was it. Showtime. I tapped the microphone. The room went quiet. I smiled, a wide, genuine smile. For the first time all week, I wasn't acting. Good evening, everyone, I began. I just want to thank you all so much for coming here today to celebrate with us. It means the world to me, and to Monica, to have our friends and family here. I look around this room, and I see so much love and support. It's truly overwhelming. I paused and looked over at my parents. To my mom and dad, thank you for everything. You taught me what love and loyalty are supposed to look like. I hope I can live up to the example you've set. Then I turned my gaze to Monica's parents. And to Monica's parents, thank you for welcoming me into your family and for raising such a beautiful and, as I've recently discovered, incredibly surprising daughter. A few people chuckled at that. Monica just beamed. I then turned to the wedding party and finally to Ben. And to my best man, Ben, what can I say? 15 years of friendship. You've been a brother to me. You've always been there for me. And you've certainly been there for Monica. You've both shown me a kind of love that I never knew was possible. I raised my glass. It's a rare thing in this life to find someone you connect with so deeply, someone you can share your most intimate secrets with. It's even rarer to find two such people. And for them to find each other, well, that's a love that is truly one of a kind. That was the cue. I gave a slight nod to the DJ. A loud crackle echoed through the ballroom as the sound system switched on. And then, silence. A confused murmur went through the crowd. Monica and Ben looked at each other, confused. And then their voices filled the room, crystal clear, amplified for every single guest to hear. Are you getting nervous? About what? That he'll find out? No way. He trusts us too much. It's almost sad. A collective gasp went through the room. Monica's face went from a radiant smile to a mask of pure, white-hot horror. Ben froze, his glass halfway to his lips, his face instantly pale and sweaty. The recording continued. Sometimes I feel guilty, but then you touch me, and it all just goes away. Last night was incredible. Just wait until after the wedding. Once you're Mrs. Miller, it'll be even easier to sneak away. The room was in absolute stunned silence, broken only by the sound of their own voices, betraying themselves over the expensive sound system. I watched as Monica's father slowly stood up, his face a thundercloud of rage. I watched as Ben's wife, who was sitting at a table with their friends, stared at him with wide, unblinking eyes, her world crumbling around her. The recording played for a full, excruciating minute. When it was over, I brought the microphone back to my lips. The silence in the room was deafening. So, I said, my voice ringing with a calm, triumphant clarity, it appears I owe a thank you not just to my bride, but to my best man, for showing me the true meaning of love and commitment. I looked directly at Monica. The tears were streaming down her face, but there was no remorse in her eyes. Only pure, unadulterated hatred for me, for getting caught. There will be no marriage today, I announced to the silent, shocked room. Because, as it turns out, I'm not the man she wants to spend her life with. I turned to Ben. And you, my friend, are not the man I thought you were. I put the microphone down. I looked out at the sea of stunned faces. However, I said, raising my voice so everyone could hear, everything here is paid for. The food is delicious, and the bar is open until midnight. Please, eat, drink, and celebrate with me. We are no longer celebrating a wedding, we are celebrating my newfound freedom. I picked up my champagne glass and raised it high, to dodging the biggest bullet of my life. For a moment, nobody moved. Then one of my cousins stood up and started clapping. Then another. Then my entire family. Within seconds, half the room was on their feet, cheering. The other half, Monica's family and friends, were staring in horrified silence. The chaos that erupted was beautiful. Monica's father was striding toward the head table. Ben's wife was screaming at him. Monica just stood there, completely broken, as her perfect wedding, her perfect life, crumbled into dust around her. I didn't stick around to watch the rest. I just walked calmly out of the ballroom, got into my car, and drove away. I didn't have a destination in mind. I just knew I was driving toward the first day of the rest of my life. A life that was finally, truly, my own.